So the key things that we need to do to build our business are to create some leverage through the systems that we put in place and also through the people that we hire. So if until we get to this stage in business, we're really going to just got a job for ourselves. We're going to be very central to the business that we own, and it's unlikely that the business is going to have much in the way of value because it's reliant upon kind of me, the owner, being here. It's only when we actually put the necessary systems in place and then get the team to operate the systems that the business actually starts to have a value that becomes also attractive to a potential buyer at a point in the future. So one of the things that we're always keen to help our business clients to do is to get their business systemised. And there are 9 steps to systemising a business. And the way that I can best represent that is just in a staircase. So I'm going to kind of quickly flick through these 9 steps, really just to kind of give you a little bit of an overview. For much more detail about each of these things, get in touch and we can talk about how we put these things into place. But if we start with at the very start point, we need to have a really clear and compelling vision. So we need to know where we're going as business owners. For a number of reasons, because we want to set out our stall to say what do we want to achieve over the long term. We also want to have a strong vision to attract the right kind of people who want to support that vision. So again, clarity on the vision statement is going to be important. Then the mission is saying, right, once we're clear on where we want to go with this business, how are we going to get there? So kind of clear definition around what does the mission statement look like? Who are the clients that we want to serve? What's the team going to interact like? How, who are they going to be? And so on and so forth. We need to get clear on kind of how we actually kind of make the vision come to life. And then kind of moving up from that is we have our culture. So what points of culture are going to be important for you? So other companies talk about what are the values of the business. Fundamentally important to make sure that you know what your culture needs to look like, again, so that you can either attract the right kind of person or repel people that maybe don't live up or associate with your values. Because once you've got people in a team who are all of the same mind, then you can, and everyone's pointing in the same direction, then you've got real traction. Okay, so once we've got kind of these things established, we do need to set goals because we've got a vision, we know what we want to achieve, but we need to break that down into much more manageable timeframes and milestones. So what are the goals that we set for our business? And then how do we cascade those goals down to our individual functions and team members? Again, we need to organise ourselves in the most appropriate way. And again, hopefully you'll kind of get the whole idea of having an organisational chart, which basically has kind of you as the owner at the top, I presume, and then the team that sits kind of to support you. But again, if we look at the kind of the key functions of the business, sales and marketing, operations, finance and admin, HR. Again, what does the structure need to look like so that people know who is accountable for which part of the business? Following on from that accountability is getting down to the granular detail around, what is each person expected to do? So do we have tight job descriptions so that people have that clarity? The one thing, in fact, the most important thing that we can do for our team is to give them clarity on what's expected of them as a job. Once people have got that, then we need to define what their KPIs or key performance indicators are. And this really will be a function or almost a smaller version of the goals. So how do those goals at a top line level then kind of distill down into individual accountabilities by person? And then what are the systems? What's the checklist of things that need to be done in each specific job? So again, we've got a phrase which is we've got a phrase which I can't remember, which is Systemise the routine, humanise the exception. And what that really means is that most things that we do in business are quite routine. So how do we systemise that? And again, a checklist is good enough so that someone can actually pick that up and say, I know what the task is ahead of me, and I know the checklist of steps to do to kind of get that job done. Not every job can be systemised in that way, and that's where we have to kind of humanise the exception. I'm glad I remembered that phrase. And then finally, what management systems do we have in place to kind of almost control what's going on? So the dashboard for our business and the reporting mechanisms so that each individual team member and function can then report effectively back up the way through the organisation so that we can deliver on the vision and the goals that we've set for ourselves. So that's a very quick run through of the key steps that we'll need to take to systemise the business. It doesn't happen overnight. These things take some time, but once they're put in place, my word, is it a good feeling for you and for the team members to say we've got some solid foundations to move on from. And every time that you take a step up that ladder, you're building a much more systemised and leveraged business. Get in touch if you want to know more about how we actually do this in your business. Until then, all the very best. Good luck.